From being an actor to a philanthropist to a producer, today on In the Spotlight, we hear it all from the horse's mouth. Brace yourselves for Vivek Oberoi.
Can feel you standing by so close behind and I.
Vivek Oberoi, thank you so much for your time.
Pleasure's mine, Ambika.
What's got you to New Delhi?
Work-wise, for my company, Karrm Infrastructure, we're doing a lot of work. There's some interesting firms out of Delhi that we're looking to collaborate with and would like to work with. It's quite a massive undertaking. It's probably going to be India's largest low-income group housing undertaking. And with that kind of mission that we're looking to accomplish, we need all the guidance, the right help from professionals, consultants, people who are looking at new technologies for construction and infrastructure, people who are great with structuring in terms of financial structuring, especially because we're looking at international pipelines in terms of bringing in cheap structured debt. So there's a lot of companies here out of Delhi that do a great job, and I'm meeting all of them here.
You've been in real estate for 11 years. For 5 years you sold plots, and for the last 5-6 years you've been selling low-income apartments. How many have you sold so far, and on what area were these developed?
So we've been very, very fortunate. We picked predominantly our largest project was in Shahpur. Shahpur is about 45 minutes by train to anywhere in Mumbai. Thane, Andheri, Bandra, great connectivity from Asangaon station, which is very close to our project. We started originally with a vision of maybe 1,000, 1,500 apartments, and just the demand, the way things moved for us, managed to sell out completely. We grew about tenfold in terms of our outlay to about 15,000 apartments.
And going ahead, where are you planning to construct low-income housing?
Well, so Karrm Infrastructure has a mission, which is called Mission 360. And the idea is to go across 360 locations in Maharashtra, in and around the 51 cities, towns or sub-cities that we've identified, of which close to about 688 acres of land has already been consolidated in different locations.
And why did you decide to get into real estate?
It was the low-income group space that I think the Prime Minister inspired me. We had a chat when he was Chief Minister of Gujarat.
Now, you've known Narendra Modi for quite some time. Tell us something about him that the rest of us don't know.
I had a personal experience when once he was really, really busy and needed to meet him. And I got an appointment at some unearthly hour at 6 or 6:30 in the morning in Gandhinagar. And I thought that he was really going out of the way for me, and I was very, very thankful. And on the way out, somebody who works with him, I walked out and said, "Singh Saab, thank you so much. And please, Narendra Bhai ko thank you कहना कि इतने सुबह उन्होंने मुझे appointment दिया. I understand he must have been really busy." He says, "No, you're the second appointment this morning." I was like, "Really? At 6:30 in the morning?" And he's like, "Yes." I said, "What time does he start working?" So he says he wakes up every morning at 4. He does an hour of meditation, yoga, etc., etc. By 5:30, he's out there, he's at his desk, and he's working. I said, "But there are times when I know that he's been sleeping at 11 or 12 or whatever, working till late night. No matter what time he goes to bed, he's always up at 4. I think that's incredible dedication." And he says that he told me something interesting. "I'm not scared of dying. I'd rather go on living and believing in what I do than live in the fear of dying." And for me, that was an incredible statement. I mean, I had respect for him, but that just quadrupled the respect I felt for him as a human being. That's pretty incredible.
Tell us a bit about your NGO.
Well, we started about 14, 15 years ago. A few defining moments, I think, were one night I was partying Christmas time and came back home at 4 or 5 in the morning, flicked on the television, was flipping through channels, and I think it was NDTV. I saw Barkha, and she was in Tamil Nadu covering the tsunami. And I just found out that morning what's happened, the devastation of it all. And I just couldn't sleep. I waited for it to be about 7 or 8 in the morning. I sent a message to Barkha. I said, "Is it really that bad?" And she said, "It's way worse than what we're seeing." We live in the same house, in the same bungalow, so I went to my parents' room and I said, I'm going to Chennai. So they said, what are you going to do? How are you going to manage? I said, I don't know, but I got to do something. I can't sit here at home. I said, we live right by the ocean in Juhu. If this had happened to us and nobody responded, how would we feel? I said, I have to do something. And I landed up in Chennai. And it was really amazing because, I mean, my dad always says, you take the first step and things happen automatically. I just met fans and I started talking to them. I said, let's do something. They said, fine, let's do it. And I think within 24 hours of me landing in Chennai, we raised about 14 trucks of supplies. And I think that's where the roots of what I'm doing now were kind of sowed in there.
Okay, very quickly, is politics the future?
No, it's the past.
Okay.
I was offered in 2014,
right.
and we're past that curve now. I took a decision back then that that's not what I want to do actively.
Okay.
It's too much more on my plate.
You've seen your father's career closely, yours. What's the secret of a long innings in Bollywood?
I think it's a lot to do with your personal mindset. Success is all about how you decide for yourself, what you define is success for yourself. Otherwise, you're going to end up bitter, unhappy, you're going to end up dissatisfied. You know, we rarely look at what we have.
What's the definition of success for Vivek Oberoi?
Well, to me, I think balance. Balance is key. You know, we get so busy. Like to me, I did a year where I was doing 6 films in a year, and I made crazy money, but I had no time with my family. I have 2 kids now. I have a 3-year-old son and a 1-year-old daughter. Ask me if I'd do it again now? Absolutely not. Would I miss those mornings with them? Would I miss the opportunity to rush home, you know, tuck them into bed and read a story to them at night? I wouldn't ever. I think quality of life comes from balance, and that's essential.
Looking at your past films, which has been your favorite and why?
The first one's always, your first love is always a little extra special. So Company would be that film.
Which negative role in Bollywood you wish you had played?
Shah Rukh in Dar. I really loved that role. I thought that was a really impactful role. And it was really fresh at the time. No one was willing to do those kind of roles, and he did it. Kudos.
And I'm sure you practice the dialogue. Why don't you share with us?
Kiran? Who hasn't? Tell me you haven't done it.
I have to.
Every one of us.
Once again.
Kiran.
All right, what were your best and worst subjects in school?
Actually, didn't have any worst subjects. I loved education. I was a very good student. In fact, I went to Mayo, and when I was studying there, a lot of the boys who were not in the mood to study would always ask me to ask questions that were out of the syllabus.
Okay.
And it was a lot of fun to sometimes stump the teachers.
Did you always want to become an actor?
No. My earliest ambition was to be a bus conductor. That's what I remember.
What made you change your mind?
And then the next ambition for the longest time was when I discovered the concept of disease and death, which I think would have been at the age of 6 or 7. I wanted to be a scientist who finds a cure for death. And then eventually I just decided I can be all of this if I'm an actor. I can be a new person in front of the camera all the time.
What do you like doing in your spare time?
Spare time, that's a tough one. I don't have any. I keep myself busy. We run the foundation. The foundation does a whole bunch of work. Last year we celebrated helping more than 250,000 children subsidize their costs for cancer treatments, getting them into Mumbai, helping them go through chemotherapy, helping them go through post-cancer care, something we do actively, and that's scaling up all the time. The other project we have is education for the girl child. There are more than 1,500 girls that we've extracted out of real dire situations like child prostitution or forced labor. And we give them free food, free education, free healthcare in our schools in Vrindavan, about 2.5 hours from Delhi.
Are you going to do something for girls in sports post the Olympics performance?
I don't know, I think that needs to be taken care of at a macro scale, but what we're doing is I'm prepping my own little army. We've got girls from our 14 villages that we get our kids from. We train them in martial arts, and trust me, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this on TV, they're
Okay.
They're able to kick butts of all the boys, and I'm very, very proud of that. We are getting our girls involved in as many sports, athletics, culture. We want them to have an overall all-round exposure and develop personalities wholesome.
Great.
And it's great. I can see the impact because from the 14 villages where no guy has been to college, we have 44 girls this year going to college.
Going back to Bollywood, any interesting projects in the pipeline?
Yeah, I just finished a project for Yash Raj called Bank Chor. That should be fun. It's a kind of a thriller comedy, and I'm shooting right now for something that's very, very interesting. That's going to be shown across 100 countries across the world. That's India's biggest series that's being shot with a massive budget. It's being produced by Excel, Farhan Akhtar and Ritesh Sidhwani, and it's called Power Play, and it's based on the behind the scenes of the IPL.
Sounds
the
exciting.
betting scandals, the sport itself, the green room, all of that. It's a very exciting bit. And I don my hat as a producer at the end of this year, where we go into producing Company 2.
The biggest lesson you've learned from your father?
My dad taught me something very incredible. A wise man may necessarily not be a nice man, but a nice man is always a wise man.